What's up, military millionaires? Today I want to talk to you about one of the most important skills, no, probably the most important skill that you need to learn, and that is networking. I was fortunate enough at a younger age to go on recruiting duty. Now, I had thought about volunteering for recruiting duty, but I didn't. I got voluntold for recruiting duty long before I ever had the chance to volunteer, but I digress. Look, recruiting duty was probably one of the single best things that has ever happened to me from the standpoint of getting into YouTube and blogging and real estate and all this other stuff and building an online presence, because I learned how to network and I learned how to speak in public and I learned how to do all these skills that the military doesn't normally tell you. So if you are in the military and you're looking for a way to advance your career through like a special duty assignment or whatever, or thinking about getting out or staying in or whatever, it would probably be worth at least looking into recruiting duty. Now, I'm not telling you that recruiting duty is a great time all the time, and it damn sure is not. It sucks sometimes, and I'll be happy to talk to you about the pros and cons, but the reality is, whether you enjoy it or not, you're going to learn skills that will help you for the rest of your life. Now, if you're not in the military, or you are just interested in learning about Now, if you're not in the military and you're interested in learning about networking and stuff like that in general, perhaps you could do what a lot of successful people like Robert Kiyosaki or Grant Cardone did and get into a sales job, or maybe a sales manager job or something like that, where you're learning how to network with people, because that is a natural part of sales. There was a quote that I got told when I first got on recruiting duty: if they like you, they will join. And what that meant was, if people enjoy your company or believe you, if they know you, they like you, and they trust you, then they're gonna buy what you're selling. That's how it correlates and translates into everything that's not recruiting duty. And so the fundamental piece of this is getting to know people and getting people to like you and being around people. The first thing you need to master when networking is building rapport. And building rapport is nothing more than kind of getting to know somebody and getting to where they kind of know you and like you and trust you. It's getting on the same page. So the first way that you do this is you find common ground. As a recruiter, this might be just pointing at someone's watch and saying, "Oh man, I love Garmin's. Do you like that watch?" Or maybe you point at their shoes. Or I had a buddy who would always find headphones. He was a headphone guy and a shoe guy, and he would always point that out to people. But it's just finding common ground. That could be as simple as, "Hey, oh, I'm from Arkansas too," or "I'm from here," or "I'm from there," or "Oh, where do you live?" "Oh, hey, nice car." Like whatever it is, anything at all. I guarantee you that there is probably something that you have in common with essentially everybody, right? Like, we're people. It's pretty easy to find common ground, at least on something. So find that common ground, build some rapport over it, because people like to talk about things they have in common. People like to talk about themselves. Let them talk about it and just enjoy that. The second piece of building rapport is matching and mirroring. And don't take this too literally, because this can kind of backfire on you if you do. But what this means is, like, say I'm standing here and I'm talking to you with my arms crossed. Maybe you should stand there with your arms crossed. Now, maybe I'm telling you, like, I don't want to be talked to, like, but you never know. If I'm standing here with my hands on my hips, maybe you put your hands on your hips. If I'm, if we're sitting down and I'm leaning into the conversation and you're not, maybe that's a bad sign, or leaning out. So the point is to kind of match the other person's body language, right? So if you see me go like this while we're sitting down, maybe you don't like immediately jump to that, but maybe you I don't know, you scratch your face, or don't touch your face, don't touch your face, military, Look, just understand that if you're kind of signaling, giving the same signals with body language, it's gonna be reciprocated. It's gonna help build rapport a little more. So if somebody's like leaning forward, super interested, don't be like, chilling. Try to build that common ground with them that way. Now, don't get so crazy with this. You might think that people are gonna like notice and pick up on it, but if you do it subtly and like delayed and not just snapping to whatever they do, like if they cross your leg, you're jumping to it. If you do it subtly and over time and give them time in between movements, people aren't gonna pick up on it, because it doesn't feel unnatural, because naturally the human brain likes to, anyway, we're not gonna get into all the neuroscience behind this, but look, if someone crosses their legs and you do it a few seconds later, they're not gonna pick up on it or think it's weird, because they're just gonna assume that you're like them. The third piece of this is demonstrating core values, as the Marine Corps says on recruiting, but it's just demonstrating who you are. And this is why they say dress to impress. This is that piece of building rapport. If you show up in like a sleeveless, cut off, beat up, bleached t-shirt and like cargo shorts to go sell a house, people are gonna kind of wonder what's up with you. But if you show up in a suit and tie, or maybe in Hawaii, maybe an aloha shirt and nice cargo or nice slacks, just understand what like nice looks like, and try to represent that. Because people are going to, whether you like it or not, people are going to judge you by how you look. And what I mean by that is, if you look sharp and you carry yourself well, people are going to see that. But if you look like a scummy, bummy, I don't know, if you look like a slumlord and you carry yourself really poorly and unconfidently, people are going to notice that too. And whether you like it or not, if you dress nice, you generally feel better and you kind of portray that. So the whole dress to impress thing, you can take it or leave it, but just understand that you need to dress in such a way that the first visual impression somebody gets is an accurate reflection of who you are and how you act and who you want to be perceived as. You can sit here and talk all day about how gauges and tattoos you shouldn't be judged by that because you're still a good person. I totally agree, but the reality is that if I saw two people I was going to go to business with and the first one had a suit and looked really clean and looked really professional and the other one looked like he just came off a rock concert, human nature says that it's going to be hard to go with the rock concert guy unless he's an all-star, and that's definitely possible, but you're kind of putting yourself off to it. It's like you're starting a race, but after you already ran 5 miles. It's just, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So if you can look professional, it's always good to look professional. It's just I promise it can't hurt you. Now that you've understand the idea of building rapport, we need to talk about how you need to be in the right place. I always say you need to be a good person and be in the right place, right? Like if you're a good person in the right place, things are going to work out for you. You can't network if you don't put yourself in situations where you have to network. So get out of your comfort zone and go to meetups and go to virtual networking opportunities. I made a video about that. And just get out in front of people and talk to people about networking or about whatever you want to learn, right? Just get out and talk to them. Go to conferences, go to meetups, go to, I don't know, the bar, go wherever people are going to be with common interests, go there and talk to them. That's it. That is the whole in the right place piece. The next thing you need to do when you're networking, especially if this is in person, is make a good impression. Make an impression. You need to be memorable. If you're like, hi, I'm Joe, and you're like super timid and like slimy handshake and like people aren't gonna remember you. You need to come up with a way to be memorable. That could be you wear a bright t-shirt. That could be just you're super energetic. That could be that you're all over the place. It could just be the way that you carry yourself. There's a lot of different things that could be, but make sure you're memorable, right? And by memorable, I don't mean like slap someone on the face and be like, I'm Dave, bitch. Like that's not memorable, but I mean it's memorable, but it's probably not how you want to be thought of. So understanding that you need to be memorable, you need to make an impression. Now, the first thing that I'm gonna talk about here is a handshake. And I know this is like middle of coronavirus, COVID, whatever, and the new norm, which I hate that freaking phrase. Look, if you don't shake my hand when we're doing business, probably not gonna do business with you. I would take that as a sign of disrespect because culturally, I grew up thinking a handshake was a sign of a deal, right? And if you're not willing to shake my hand, immediately I'm gonna think that there's something wrong with this deal because you don't want anything to do with me. So get over it, shake a hand, and when you shake a hand, firm handshake, you know, a pump or two, whatever, don't be like doing this thing and don't be doing this thing and don't be like a limp fish. Just give a handshake, eye contact, say your name, shake, shake, whatever. If you know the person or you're a toucher, like put your arm on, put your hand like guys do, like freaking up on the arm or whatever. Actually, touch can help you with rapport, so that'd be good. But good handshake, eye contact, state your name, whatever. If you can make a joke, whatever, right? That's the first impression people are gonna get of you. It's like, hey, I'm Dave, how are you? Or, hi, I'm Dave, the military millionaire, whatever. Like, I'm just screwing around. This is weird doing it in front of a camera, but you understand what I'm saying. If you're like, hi, I'm Dave, or whatever, like I'm normally like a fist bumper or whatever, it is what it is. It depends on the situation, but a good handshake and eye contact goes a long way. So make sure you make a good impression. You need to show genuine interest in the people you're talking to. It shows through if you're being fake. It shows through if you don't give a fuck. Sorry, it does. So make sure that you show genuine interest in those people, all right? Show interest in them, show interest in what they're doing. Listen to them, ask questions. People love to talk about themselves and they don't always like to hear you talk about yourself. So when you're networking and you're making first impressions, just ask questions, right? And listen to them and show interest and respond. And maybe you repeat the last thing they said and that shows that you were listening, but just show interest. And we already kind of talked about the whole limp noodle thing, but be confident, show confidence, portray confidence. You don't have to be the most confident person in the world to act like it, right? You just don't. I mean, we've all heard fake it till you make it. Now, I don't necessarily think that's the best strategy. But you don't have to be acting like the most confident person in the world in order to put on a confident appearance. Just stand tall, act like you know what's going on. I mean, the first few times I gave a speech, I was shaking, I was nervous, but people couldn't tell because I had practiced what I was going to do and I knew what I was going to say, and I just got out there and did it. Now, I want to touch base real quick now that we've talked about some of the stuff for building rapport and first impressions. I like the book Like Switch, and I recommend that you go read it. It's a CIA, FBI guy who was essentially, his job was helping convince spies to change sides and stuff like that. Like, he did a lot of crazy spy stuff, but I don't even know what that's called, espionage, but I don't know what branch of the, I don't like which file folder of CIA crap that goes in. But look, the guy used body language to accomplish some pretty crazy things. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. It's a super cool book. It's an interesting read, and it's kind of like Never Split the Difference, but for networking, and there's some great stuff in there. I don't want to mess this up, so I'm going to read it off here. But he talks about the friendship formula, which is proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. So proximity is the distance between you and another person. Frequency is the number of contacts over time and the duration that you have with them. Duration is how long each of your interactions is. And intensity is how strongly you're able to satisfy, what does it say? Oops. How strongly you're able to satisfy another person's psychological or physical needs while interacting. Essentially, the more time you spend with somebody and around somebody, and the more duration, the closer you are, the more likely you are to build a friendship with them. It's why you get close with people you work with. It's why you get close with people you're in a platoon with. It's just nature, right? If you're with them a lot, you know, obviously that's not going to say you like all of them, but you're going to be more prone to hang out with those people and like those people than if you only see them once in a blue moon, which is kind of why long distance relationships can struggle sometimes, because you're not getting the proximity, you're not getting the duration, probably not getting the intensity. It's just not the same. I want to touch on networking at conferences, right? The first few things you need to know are, when you go to a conference, you need to have a plan. So who do you want to meet? Why do you want to meet them? What value can you bring them? I have gone to several conferences where I picked out, like, I want to meet this person, and then I did. Or if I can meet these 3 people, then I'll be happy and this event will feel like it was a win, right? The point is to have a plan with who you want to network with and what it is that you're going to provide to them. You can't just go meet with a rock star and just see like, hey, can I take you out to coffee? That's not going to work at a conference. You need to make sure you have a plan for what kind of value you can add, what kind of proposition you have for them, what kind of, I don't know, elevator pitch, whatever, to get some kind of value with them. Now, I'm not saying I'm a superstar at this, but I've been fairly successful at building relationships in a short amount of time with people that, are probably out of my pay grade. But another big factor with that is, don't be all puppy dog fanboy. Like, just talk to them like normal people, because that's what they are. Oh, and yes, this can totally be like a keynote speaker. It doesn't really matter who it is. I've had success with that too. It's just having that plan and finding a way to get in front of them and have a normal conversation in which you're making a good impression. Remember everything we talked about. The final thing you need to have, especially if you're going to go to any networking event, is an elevator pitch. And this needs to be concise, inclusive, and genuine. So what you need to do is you need to know what you want to say, and you need to know how this can't be, I think like 20 seconds is pushing it, no more than 30 seconds, but the shorter the better. So when I say concise, it needs to be short, because people don't have that long of an attention span, and you want to get to where you're asking them about themselves so that they talk to you. As far as inclusive, you need to make sure you cover everything in there. So it's got to be really, really, really succinct. And then for genuine, like, just make sure your elevator pitch doesn't sound like you're spammy or like an infomercial. Be genuine. So like, my current elevator pitch, if I had to just come off the fly with one, would be like, hi, I'm Dave, the host of the Military Millionaire podcast. We help service members and veterans learn how to build wealth through real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and personal finance. Boom. I mean, less than 15 seconds, probably less than 10 seconds. I don't know. That was fast, right? I wasn't like timing myself, but it's short. It tells you everything you need to know about who I am, what I do, and why you should care, because it's telling you what's in it for you by learning how to build wealth. And it tells you all that stuff, but it also is very short. And it's genuine. That's who I am. That's what I do, right? That's all it is. That's all it needs to be for an elevator pitch. If you can master these few things for networking, I promise your conference game will be way different, right? And you should definitely go around and meet a whole bunch of people. You may not form a deep relationship with everybody that you meet, but you should meet a lot of people. Now you can follow up with them via email or via phone call. You can follow up with people. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's all great. But if you don't make that first impression and you're not a person worth knowing, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to follow up with you if you were a limp noodle that wasn't worth remembering. but people will want to follow up with you if you're strong and confident, you built rapport, you listened to them, you were genuine, and you told them what was in it for them to be a part of your conversation. I hope you got a little bit out of this on networking. There's so much more to talk about. This is kind of one of my superpowers, I think. If you'd like to get more information on networking or content marketing, let me know down below and I'll be happy to go more into detail and more into the weeds on this. Let me know what questions you got and I will answer them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you get notified when there are other videos.